Chosen ones. Now listen very carefully. Something is shifting between October 10th and October 12th, and it's not just in the world around you. It's in your spirit, your relationships, the people you trust most. Have you noticed it? That quiet unease that slips into your home, that sudden coldness in conversations, that strange heaviness when someone you love walks into the room. It's subtle, but undeniable. You might think it's just coincidence or stress, but it's not. This week marks what many call the refining window, a divine test where God doesn't test your strength through enemies or strangers, but through those closest to your heart. It's never the outsider that truly shakes your faith. It's the ones within your circle, the ones who know your secrets, your fears, and your dreams. And this test isn't meant to destroy you, chosen one. It's meant to reveal you. Because before elevation comes exposure. Before blessing comes purification. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Over these next few minutes, we'll uncover 5 hidden signs that reveal when God is testing you through relationships. Each one will connect like puzzle pieces, showing you why certain shifts had to happen, and why some people are suddenly showing their true colors. If you've been feeling that strange pull lately, that someone's energy around you isn't what it used to be, stay right here. The message you're about to hear might explain everything you've been sensing in your spirit. It starts softly, almost unnoticed. One day, everything feels normal. Laughter, support, shared dreams. Then, little by little, something changes. The warmth fades. The eyes that once sparkled with pride when they looked at you now hold something distant, maybe even unsettled. The words are still kind, but the tone, colder, and deep inside, your spirit whispers, something's off.
Chosen ones, that whisper is not paranoia, it's discernment. God sharpens your sensitivity before every elevation. You begin to feel what you can't yet see. This is the first sign, a sudden shift in energy. And remember this, energy never lies. People can disguise their faces, but they can't disguise their spirits. When you start walking into your next level, some around you can't handle the altitude. The air gets thinner, and those who once walked beside you begin to struggle to breathe. But don't chase them. Don't question your worth because their tone changed. This is not rejection, it's revelation. God is showing you who can walk with you and who cannot handle the light you now carry. The shift in energy is the first doorway, the subtle test. But what comes next is sharper, more personal. Because when the enemy realizes he can't distract you with outsiders, he sends the test through the familiar. And that's where the second sign begins. Betrayal is never random. It's the moment the mask falls. It doesn't come from a stranger across the street. It comes from someone close enough to hold your hand while they twist the knife. Maybe it's a friend who shared your secrets when you trusted them most. Maybe it's the family who spoke against you in the very season you needed them to stand beside you. It hurts because you didn't see it coming. You never imagined that they would be the ones to cut deepest. But hear this clearly. Betrayal is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of revelation. God allows betrayal not to punish you, but to expose what you could never see on your own. Think of it like light breaking through a dark room. Every act of betrayal simply exposes what was already there. Even Jesus faced this test through Judas, someone close enough to kiss him, not stab from afar. Without Judas, there would be no cross. Without the cross, no resurrection. In the same way, your betrayal isn't a curse. It's the key that unlocks your purpose. And once you understand that, you begin to heal differently. You stop asking, why did they hurt me? And start asking, what is God showing me through this? But betrayal doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it comes disguised as advice, care, or protection. And that's where the next test begins. After betrayal, you'd think the test would end, right? But chosen ones, it only deepens. Because the third sign is far quieter and far more dangerous. Silent sabotage. This one doesn't scream in your face. It smiles. It nods. It says, "I'm just worried about you." But every word it speaks slowly chips away at your confidence. You share your dream, and they reply, "That's risky." You share your vision, and they say, "Maybe wait until you're ready." They think they're protecting you, or at least, that's what they tell you. But in truth, they're planting seeds of fear, doubt, and hesitation. This is how the enemy operates when loud attacks don't work. He sends quiet ones wrapped in concern. Silent sabotage is a test of faith over approval. Can you still move when no one claps? Can you still believe when no one believes in you? God allows this test to build spiritual independence. Because if every voice around you cheered, you'd begin to rely on people instead of Him. So, when the cheers fade, and all you hear is silence, don't panic. It's not rejection. It's a redirect. But what happens when silence turns into something darker? When those smiles begin to hide resentment, that's when the next sign appears. Chosen ones. This one is subtle, and it hides in plain sight. The fourth test is envy. Not the kind from strangers online, but the envy that wears a mask of love. The envy that hugs you after your victory, but clenches its jaw behind your back. It's the person who says, "I'm proud of you," but their tone doesn't match their words. It's the one who used to celebrate your blessings, but now grows quiet when you shine. You can feel it. The dullness in their eyes, the tension in the room. This kind of envy is spiritual. It doesn't always attack. It just stops supporting. It withholds joy. It quietly celebrates your setbacks. And God lets you see it so you can learn. Not every smile means loyalty. And not every "I'm happy for you" is real. Don't respond with hate. Respond with awareness. Envy is proof that you carry something valuable. Nobody envies what's empty. They envy what glows. So when envy shows itself, don't shrink. Shine brighter. Because, chosen ones, envy is not your enemy. It's your confirmation that you're rising. But there's one final test that follows. And it's the one that changes everything. It doesn't attack your dreams. It tests your heart. This is the moment everything you've learned comes together. The final test. The heart test. Chosen ones, before God gives you the crown, He measures your heart. Before He trusts you with greatness, He allows heartbreak to purify what's inside. This is the season when the one you love most wounds you the deepest. Not because you're cursed, but because your calling requires a stronger heart. You cry, you question, you ache, and still, you rise. That's the test. To stay pure in the fire. To keep loving when love isn't returned. To forgive when forgiveness feels impossible. Think of gold. It's only pure after it's passed through fire. That's what God is doing in you. He's refining you until no bitterness remains. Because the higher He takes you, the cleaner your heart must be. So when you feel broken, remember, this is not the end. October 7/12 is not the week of endings. It's the week of becoming. Your tears are watering your next blessing. Your pain is the seed of your purpose. Hold on, chosen ones. The heart test is the hardest, but it's also the doorway to everything you've prayed for. Pass it, and nothing. Not betrayal, not envy, not silence, can block what's coming next. Chosen ones, when the world grows silent and your circle grows smaller, you might start wondering if you did something wrong. You didn't. This is the divine quiet before transformation. the heart test. And it's the most personal one of all. In this phase, everything feels uncertain. The people you counted on drift away. The dreams you once saw clearly seem blurry, and your faith feels fragile. You start asking questions like, why me? Why now? But what you're feeling isn't punishment, it's purification. God removes distractions before He delivers direction. The pain you feel isn't meant to stop you. It's meant to refine you. This is where He watches what you'll do when no one claps, when no one sees, when no one believes. And chosen ones, this is where most people give up. They mistake silence for abandonment, isolation for exile. But in truth, God isolates before He elevates. He separates you from noise, so He can teach you how to hear His voice clearly. So, if you've been crying lately, if your nights have felt longer and your prayers heavier, understand this. The fire you're in right now is the very thing shaping your crown. This is not where it ends, it's where it begins. Because after the heart test comes something divine, something most don't even recognize until it's already happening. It's not about who left or what broke. It's about what's being reborn inside of you. And that leads us straight into the next revelation. After your heart is tested, something powerful happens. Your spiritual vision begins to change. The world doesn't look the same anymore. The same conversations that used to excite you now drain you. The same people who used to impress you now confuse you. Chosen ones, this is the moment of awakening. You start seeing people, places, and opportunities for what they truly are, not what they pretend to be. You no longer chase attention, approval, or applause. You crave peace, and peace becomes your proof that you've grown. This is where God sharpens your discernment. Suddenly, you recognize energy before words, motives before actions. You can walk into a room and feel what's real and what's false. You've moved from emotional seeing to spiritual seeing. It's a sacred shift, one that many misunderstand. Some will say, you've changed. But that's the point. You were never meant to stay the same. Growth offends stagnation. When your vision elevates, your circle shifts. And yes, it may feel lonely at first. But solitude in this stage isn't emptiness, it's alignment. It's where you start hearing divine instructions that you couldn't hear when your world was too loud. So don't fight it, chosen ones. Embrace the new clarity, because with that vision comes responsibility. You'll start feeling pulled toward purpose, a mission bigger than survival. That's the next level. That's where your test turns into a calling. And it leads to something even deeper. Something that explains why you had to go through all this pain in the first place. Chosen ones. After the vision shift comes the divine reversal. The moment when everything that once worked against you begins to work for you. This is the season when rejection turns into redirection. When betrayal becomes your breakthrough. When silence becomes your strength. The very things that hurt you now serve you. You start realizing that nothing was wasted. Every tear, every heartbreak, every lonely night was part of a divine design. Chosen ones. After the vision shift comes the divine reversal. The moment when everything that once worked against you begins to work for you. This is the season when rejection turns into redirection. When betrayal becomes your breakthrough. When silence becomes your strength. The very things that hurt you now serve you. You start realizing that nothing was wasted. Every tear, every heartbreak, every lonely night was part of a divine design. The people who walked away didn't leave you empty. They made room for something greater. The opportunities that closed didn't end your path. They rerouted you to something divine. And this reversal doesn't happen all at once. It unfolds quietly. Suddenly, you begin attracting peace instead of chaos, truth instead of gossip, love instead of validation. It's not luck, it's alignment. God is saying, now that your heart is pure, your vision is clear, and your faith is firm, it's time. Time for restoration. Time for recognition. Time for recognition. But here's the key. The reversal doesn't start outside you. It starts within you. When you stop chasing closure, stop replaying pain, stop questioning the plan, that's when the shift begins. You've passed the tests. You've endured the silence. And now, the promise begins to manifest. But what comes next? That's the part that gives all this meaning. That's the moment where the chosen ones realize why they were chosen. Chosen ones, if you've made it this far, understand this. Nothing in your story was random. Every delay, every disappointment, every heartbreak was a divine setup for transformation. You've walked through betrayal, survived envy, endured silence, and stood through the fire, and yet you're still standing. That alone proves your calling, because ordinary people break under pressure, but chosen ones are built in it. The pain didn't destroy you, it refined you. The silence didn't isolate you, it strengthened your discernment. And every person who left only cleared space for the ones who are meant to walk with you in your next season. So, if you're watching this during October 7/12, hear this clearly. This is your confirmation. The shift you're feeling isn't fear. It's your spirit stepping into alignment. The old version of you is gone. The one emerging now carries wisdom, strength, and grace that can't be taken away. You've passed the tests. You recognized the energy shifts. You endured betrayal without bitterness. You spotted silent sabotage without revenge. You outgrew envy with humility. You faced heartbreak with faith. You gained clarity in isolation. And now, you've entered divine reversal. That's what makes you one of the chosen ones. Not because you were perfect, but because you didn't quit. And now, your only task is to walk forward. Walk in peace, in purpose, in quiet confidence, knowing that everything you lost was simply making space for everything you're about to gain. But before you go, I want to ask you something deeply personal, something that turns this message from just words into reflection. What part of this message spoke to your spirit the most? Was it the betrayal, the silence, the envy, or the moment you realized your pain had purpose? Comment below and share what season you're in right now, because your story might be the confirmation another chosen one needs to keep going. And remember, this isn't the end of your story. It's the moment the plot shifts. The storm didn't come to drown you. It came to reveal you. So hold your head high. Walk with that quiet fire inside you. Because the world is about to see what a refined soul looks like. And when they ask how you made it through, just tell them the truth. I didn't survive because I was strong. I survived because I am one of the chosen ones.